Have you ever been addicted to being understood? That burning need to explain yourself, to prove your point, to fix how someone sees you. It's like a quiet addiction, not to a substance, but to validation. You tell yourself, if I can just make them see the truth, they'll finally understand me. But instead, you walk away drained, questioning your worth, your peace, your sanity. That's when the silence begins. Not the kind that hides weakness, but the kind that signals evolution. This is the moment the Stoics understood centuries ago, that not every battle is worth your words, not every audience deserves your truth, and not every noise deserves your attention, because silence is not emptiness, it's power. There's something deeply addictive about reacting. It gives us the illusion of control. But the wisest, calmest, most emotionally intelligent people you'll ever meet have learned to break that addiction. They've discovered that silence is a form of strength, a weapon sharpened by time and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Those who live by this don't speak to prove a point. They speak to express truth. And when truth isn't welcome, they choose silence. You'll notice them everywhere, in the meeting room, in the argument, in the chaos, watching quietly, absorbing everything. They are not passive. They are patient. They are not disengaged. They are discerning. And when they finally speak, every word lands like thunder. So in this video, we'll explore why smart people stay silent around certain people through the lens of Stoicism. You'll learn why silence is a form of wisdom, a boundary, and emotional armor that protects your peace from toxic people, manipulators, and chaos. Because when you master silence, you master yourself. If you're someone who's tired of reacting, tired of being misunderstood, and ready to reclaim your emotional power, this video is your reminder. Stay until the end. And if Stoic wisdom inspires you, subscribe and join a community that believes in strength through calmness, wisdom through silence, and peace through self-mastery. In ancient Rome, before the sun had even touched the marble walls of the palace, Marcus Aurelius would rise before dawn. He wasn't a man chasing noise or praise. He was an emperor who sought quiet. He would sit in stillness, pen in hand, writing thoughts not for the world, but for himself. Reminders to stay calm, to observe, to listen more than he spoke. Because he knew, in a world drowning in voices, silence is rebellion. The Stoics believed that silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of control. They taught that a person's strength isn't measured by how loudly they speak, but by how calmly they can remain centered when provoked. Epictetus, once a slave, learned this truth the hard way. His master would insult him, test him, humiliate him. Yet Epictetus refused to react. When asked how he could tolerate such cruelty, he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters." That response, or sometimes the decision not to respond, is where true power lives. To the Stoics, speech was sacred. Words were to be used like medicine, carefully, precisely, and only when necessary. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, often reminded his students, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Because once spoken, words cannot be taken back. They can heal nor destroy, build or betray. Modern society glorifies expression. Everyone wants to be heard, to say something, to make noise. But the Stoic sees through this illusion. He understands that silence can achieve what words cannot. Understanding, patience, and peace. In silence, you observe what others miss. You begin to see the motives behind their words, the insecurity behind their anger, the fear behind their arrogance. And once you see, you no longer need to react. You simply understand. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, war, and deceit, yet his writings remained gentle, calm, compassionate. Why? Because he mastered the discipline of silence. He understood that every reaction costs energy, and every wasted word is a drop of peace spilled for nothing. The power of silence in Stoic philosophy is not about muting your voice. It's about mastering your voice. It's about knowing when to speak and why to stay quiet. When you can hold your tongue in anger, when you can observe chaos without joining it, when you can choose silence over noise, that's when you step into true Stoic strength. In the quiet, wisdom grows. And sometimes the most powerful thing a person can say is nothing at all. There's a quiet intelligence that doesn't announce itself. It observes. It walks into a room, senses the energy, studies the tone, and listens not to the words spoken, but to the silence between them. This is what the Stoics mastered long before modern psychology had a name for it: reading the room. Imagine Marcus Aurelius seated among senators. The air is thick with politics and performance. Everyone speaks to be seen, not to be understood. Yet Marcus sits in silence, studying faces, catching every flicker of pride, fear, and deceit. He knows that human behavior always reveals more than human speech. To the Stoics, perception was the first act of wisdom. Before reacting, before judging, before speaking, observe. Because observation exposes truth faster than argument ever could. This same principle applies today. You walk into a meeting, a family dinner, or a heated argument. The loudest person often isn't the smartest. The one who speaks last, after everyone else has revealed their hand, is the one who holds real power. That's not passivity, that's precision. Epictetus taught his students, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's not just philosophy. It's emotional strategy. By staying silent, you let others show you who they truly are. You give them the rope, not to trap them, but to understand them. A Stoic doesn't rush to defend or correct. He studies patterns, tone, tension, timing. He notices the colleague whose smile never reaches their eyes, the friend whose compliments hide competition, the family member who twists every conversation back to themselves. And with that awareness, he chooses his response, or none at all. That's what separates intelligence from wisdom. Intelligence wants to fix everything. Wisdom wants to understand everything. The Stoic mind is like still water, reflective, calm, undisturbed. When others throw stones of anger or manipulation, the wise simply watch the ripples fade. They know reacting gives power to chaos. Observing reclaims it. In modern psychology, this is called emotional intelligence. The ability to sense others' emotions, regulate your own, and navigate social tension with grace. But for the Stoics, this was more than a skill. It was a way of life. By reading the room, they protected their peace. They avoided unnecessary conflict. They maintained dignity in a world obsessed with dominance. So the next time you enter a space buzzing with opinions, ego, and noise, pause. Let others reveal their truth first. Observe, absorb, and understand. Because sometimes silence isn't withdrawal, it's strategy. And the person who listens more than they speak always leaves the room with more power than they entered with. There comes a point in every wise person's life when silence stops being a choice and becomes a shield. It happens after years of trying to explain. yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. After countless moments when you spoke truth, but it was twisted into something else. After giving your energy to arguments that left you empty and your peace shattered, that's when silence becomes sacred. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus said, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Your actions will speak for you." Those who have tasted betrayal, gossip, or manipulation know what he meant. Because when you speak to the wrong kind of person, the one who feeds on your reaction, your words become weapons against you. Silence, then, becomes a form of self-protection. It's how the wise conserve energy in a world that constantly tries to drain it. Think of Marcus Aurelius again, surrounded by senators plotting, generals whispering, advisors flattering. He could have fought every rumor, corrected every lie, defended every decision, but he didn't. He knew that engaging with small minds only shrinks your soul. He wrote in Meditations, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That is the essence of Stoic silence, refusing to let toxic people pull you into their chaos. In modern life, you'll meet people who argue not to find truth, but to dominate. They provoke you, misinterpret you, and manipulate your emotions just to feel powerful. To them, your reaction is fuel. Your silence starves them. You can feel it. The moment you stop explaining, something shifts. They become uncomfortable, even angry, because your peace exposes their noise. That's the hidden power of Stoic silence. It disarms manipulators without a single word. It's not that you don't care. It's that you care too much about your mental clarity to waste it on people who thrive in conflict. Silence also teaches something else. Detachment. You stop needing to be right in every conversation. You stop needing closure from people who can't give it. You stop justifying your worth to those blind to it. That's freedom, the kind the Stoics lived for. Freedom not from others, but from yourself. From that emotional addiction to proving your truth. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And silence, in a world of noise, is an act of bravery. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, not every battle deserves your sword. Sometimes the most powerful defense is to smile, say nothing, and walk away with your peace intact. There's a story told of a Stoic general who once faced an enemy commander known for his arrogance. Before battle, the enemy sent insults across the field, mocking, provoking, daring him to respond. The general said nothing. He simply observed. Hours later, the silence unnerved the enemy so deeply that he attacked impulsively and lost. That's the quiet power of strategic silence, the kind of wisdom that doesn't shout, doesn't explain, doesn't react. It waits. In Stoic philosophy, silence isn't submission. It's strategy. Smart people understand that words have weight, and the heavier your words, the fewer you need to use. This is the essence of emotional intelligence, knowing when to stay silent and why. In the language of psychology, silence creates tension. It forces others to fill the space with their own assumptions and insecurities. The Stoics use this not to manipulate, but to maintain self-control and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius often remained silent in debates, not because he lacked arguments, but because he understood human nature. He knew that most people don't listen to understand, they listen to reply. And the Stoic mind refuses to compete with noise. Smart people don't rush to speak because they know that silence protects their mental strength. When dealing with toxic people, silence becomes a mirror. It reflects their behavior back at them, revealing their true intentions. That's why those who thrive on chaos despise quiet people, because you can't manipulate someone who doesn't react. This is where Stoicism meets psychology, the art of emotional control. When you hold your silence in the face of provocation, you're not avoiding conflict. You're exercising power. You're saying, "You will not decide how I feel." That's not weakness, it's self-preservation. The Stoics believed silence could be as sharp as a sword, but as gentle as a shield. Used wisely, it sets personal boundaries without confrontation. It creates respect without demand. It builds social intelligence, because when you stop speaking, you start seeing. A wise person doesn't need to dominate a conversation to influence it. They use silence like a sculptor uses space. Every pause, every glance, every moment of stillness shapes perception. In a world where everyone rushes to be heard, silence is magnetic. People lean in. They wonder what you're thinking, and that curiosity is power. This is the Stoic way, to master yourself before trying to master others. Because the one who controls their tongue controls their destiny. So the next time someone tests your patience, remember this Stoic wisdom. Silence isn't losing, it's leading without noise. And in the realm of power dynamics, the calm mind always wins the loud battle. That is Stoicism in motion. Strategic silence, emotional control, and unshakable inner peace. There's a moment in every emotionally intelligent person's journey when they realize peace isn't found in controlling others, but in controlling themselves. That realization is where silence becomes emotional mastery. Imagine standing in the middle of an argument. Voices rise, accusations fly. Every part of you wants to defend, to explain, to fight back. But then something within you, your stoic mindset, whispers, "Stay still." You breathe, step back and say nothing. That moment of restraint. That's not weakness. That's self-control. That's mental strength. In Stoic philosophy, silence is the highest form of discipline. It's the pause between stimulus and response, the sacred gap where wisdom is born. Marcus Aurelius called it the interval of choice. Between what happens to you and what you do about it lies your power. Smart people know this truth deeply. They've learned through pain that reacting emotionally only feeds the fire, especially when dealing with toxic people. These are the ones who poke, provoke, and twist your emotions just to feel powerful. They thrive on chaos, but your silence starves them. Through Stoicism, you learn that silence doesn't mean suppression. It means mastery. It's the art of observing your emotions without becoming them. You notice the anger rising, the hurt building, the ego wanting to strike, and you let it pass like a storm you no longer need to stand in. That's emotional intelligence in its purest form, knowing when to stay silent, not because you're scared, but because you refuse to lose your inner peace over something temporary. In psychology, this is called response inhibition, the ability to pause before reacting. In Stoic wisdom, it's called virtue. The Stoics didn't avoid emotion. They transcended it. They believed silence was not a lack of passion, but a presence of understanding. Because when you understand yourself, you don't need to prove yourself. Every wise person you meet carries this quiet energy. Calm, composed, unbothered. They don't chase validation. They don't explain their every move. Their silence speaks louder than words ever could. This is what makes strategic silence so powerful. It's both protection and communication. It tells the world, my peace matters more than your provocation. It sets personal boundaries without aggression. It reflects social intelligence, knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. So the next time someone tries to draw you into chaos, remember, reacting is easy, but silence takes mastery. Every second you stay calm, you strengthen your mental armor. That's what Stoicism truly teaches, that wisdom isn't found in loud philosophies, but in quiet restraint, because in a world that glorifies reaction, silence is revolution. And those who master it, master themselves, through emotional control, self-preservation, and unshakable peace. The world today rewards noise, opinions shouted louder than reason, reactions faster than thought. But smart people, guided by Stoicism, know a different kind of strength, the discipline of silence. And this isn't a silence of fear. It's the silence of power, of emotional intelligence, of mental strength carefully guarded by self-control. There's a story of a young Stoic who once asked his teacher, "How can I learn peace?" The teacher smiled and said, "By learning to be silent when your ego wants to speak." That's where all Stoic wisdom begins. Not in the absence of words, but in the mastery of when and why to use them. To practice Stoic silence in daily life, start small. When someone cuts you off in traffic, breathe, don't react. When a colleague takes credit for your work, observe, don't explode. When toxic people bait you into arguing, smile, say nothing, and let their noise expose them. Each time you choose silence over reaction, you're strengthening the muscle of self-preservation. In Stoic philosophy, every moment of restraint is an act of training. Marcus Aurelius called life a battlefield of the mind, where emotions are the enemies and inner peace is victory. To win that battle, you need more than patience. You need strategic silence. Think of it like this: silence gives you space. Space to analyze, to reflect, to regain your emotional control. It's the pause that transforms chaos into clarity. In psychology, this is the power of delayed response, the ability to respond from reason, not reaction. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Another daily practice of Stoic silence is listening, deeply, attentively. When you listen more, you understand people beyond their words. That's social intelligence, the ability to read emotion and intention before deciding if it deserves your energy. Sometimes silence is how you see the truth no one else notices. You'll also find peace in solitude, spending time in quiet reflection. The Stoics often journaled not to speak to the world, but to speak to themselves. Writing what you feel, but choosing not to say it aloud, builds emotional intelligence and teaches you when to stay silent. And then there's silence as personal boundaries. Not replying to every insult, not defending every decision, not explaining your worth to people determined not to see it. That's the kind of silence that protects your inner peace. The kind that says, my time and energy are sacred. Practicing silence is not about suppressing emotion. It's about refining it. Each quiet moment becomes a declaration of control, a reminder that peace isn't found outside you, but within. Because in a world desperate for reaction, your silence will confuse some, irritate others, and empower you. That's the ultimate lesson of Stoicism, to speak only when your words will improve the silence. And when they won't, let your calm become your answer. When you understand Stoicism, you start to see that true wisdom doesn't scream. It whispers. And that whisper, that calm presence of silence, is what draws people in. In today's digital world, where everyone is shouting for attention, smart people stand out by being still. That's not coincidence, that's strategic silence. It's the same principle that governed the minds of ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. Now reborn in a modern world flooded with noise, if you're creating content or trying to grow an audience that values depth over drama, this is your secret weapon. Speak less, but say what matters. Let your calm tone, your thoughtful pauses, and your authenticity carry more weight than the loudest influencer online. Stoic philosophy teaches that silence isn't passive. It's psychology in motion. It's the art of guiding attention without fighting for it. Your words should emerge from self-control and emotional intelligence, not from reaction. Imagine a YouTube video that opens with silence, just the sound of wind, maybe the faint echo of footsteps, before a voice says, "Have you ever noticed how smart people stay silent around certain people?" That stillness hooks the soul.